Hello, today I'm going to do a vlog on what I consider a rather fun topic, and that is festivals and why am I involved with so many of them. So for some that know me, they will know that I work and or volunteer for usually around about 10 festivals a year. Plus I also have another role in which I'm often in office many days a week, and I also run workshops and I do healing sessions, and so I've got many things that I'm involved in running this YouTube channel. And why add another thing to be doing and being involved in like festivals? Well, the thing is, it's such an interesting industry to be in. And when I say festivals, pretty much nearly all of them are what I guess some might call, small-ish kind of festivals. Normally anywhere sort of between 1,000 to 4,000 people. Most of them sit around about sort of the 2,000 person mark. And, for some people it's like, wow, there's a lot of people. But I also am aware that most people, when they think of mainstream festivals, there's normally like tens of thousands of people that would be going. And so that's why I would consider these kind of small festivals. Okay, well, number one is the arts, right? The creativity. And because these festivals are quite far out of mainstream in a certain sense, there is like less restriction, there's less boxing in on the art, on the creativity, and it's also a lot easier to meet people that actually really practice that and embody that on a lot more of a regular basis. Like, I'm aware, like if someone was to go like a concert, you're not that likely to probably meet the drummer or the singer or something like that. But at some of these small festivals, you're probably quite likely that you might meet a DJ or the person that designed the stage or the person that painted that mural over there, or meet the artist that painted this beautiful picture that you want to buy in the art gallery. There's just these less layers and levels of having to filter through to connect with an artist and with a creative. And a lot of the participants that go, they may not necessarily be paid to provide their art, but they are also maybe artists and creatives themselves. So they will go to these places for the inspiration, and I guess it can be a little bit of networking there, but it's not necessarily going there with a really sort of like business-minded, focused mindset. There's a lot of level of like playfulness and naivety a little bit with it as well, if I can put it that way. With these small festivals, I really love like the expression, and with that there also comes like an expansion. Although I'm also aware that for some people the expression is like too overwhelming, which can then actually cause them to be more constricted than expanded. So again, that just really depends on your reaction and how you perceive yourself and perceive others as to how you're probably going to respond, and maybe your own patterns and beliefs to some of the expression. And again, it could be very expansive for you or could be constricting. So, I can't really dictate what that experience is like for everybody. I do find that these festivals tend to have less judgment. You can be and bring a lot more of yourself in the moment. And there's a lot of joy that can be experienced in that. There's a lot of things that one can do and be at some of these small festivals that you just may even actually, I don't know, get locked up or something if you did in a downtown city centre. I'm not saying these activities are illegal, but it's you can dress a particular way, you can dance a particular way, you could just laugh nonstop for an hour if you wanted to, you know what I mean? And there's not going to be as much judgment around that kind of expression. And then obviously with that comes more freedom, right? And with the freedom to be who you need to be in that moment also comes, it creates more connection. So connection with yourself, and then obviously your surrounding environment, such as the human, the land, etc. Another thing that I really like about these small festivals is that you actually can start to practice certain principles, maybe certain philosophies that may not work very well in a lot of mainstream communities at this moment in time, but you can play around with those sort of principles and philosophies in these smaller environments. But you can also, because you're then able to play around with them more, you can figure out ways in which you may be able to apply them more to your everyday life. And those who get this will get it, and if you don't, I'm sorry. Now, for myself personally, I've been sober for a number of years. Like, I haven't had any alcohol for like over 8 years, and which can be a little bit overwhelming coming into spaces where people are usually highly intoxicated on lots of different drugs. Alcohol is a drug, being one of them, right? And so for me and the way that I am, I can be a little bit sensitive. So there's obviously certain practices in which I might do, and there might be things that maybe I don't engage in as much as others do. Like, I probably wouldn't be dancing at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd be sleeping, that sort of thing. But just to take care of myself, but if I'm taking good care of myself, then I can still be in these environments with all these people and lots of different things. And if I choose, I can channel myself into a particular energy or emotion and feel high through someone else's experience of substances, even though I haven't actually consumed it. And then also with that, I'm then able to like cut myself off and come back to center and be grounded through the whole experience. There's like I can put myself in a time frame of like, okay, I've had enough of that now. And it's very easy just to disconnect if you know what you're doing. And there's also like there's a level of obviously coming to a festival and being a participant, but there's other levels involved with being a volunteer and then also actually working in these environments. So when you're volunteering and or working, you actually get into another level of functionality of how it all operates and how it all works. And I just love that sort of stuff. I'm a bit of a organizer at times sometimes, and I have created like my own events and things as well by seeing and observing what else has worked or not worked. So being able to learn that and then apply that in my own experiences and bring things that I've learned from one festival to another festival. And a lot of these festivals that I go to and I'm experiencing like work and volunteer experiences with in Queensland is that there's a community and we're all kind of interconnected and we all kind of know each other in certain ways. So yeah, I mean, they're not all the same, they're different crews, different teams, but there is a benefit in that they're all sort of connected, and because they'll often have an etiquette in which they'll try not to plan things on the same weekend and that sort of stuff as well, which is always really courteous, and it's nice when people are respecting each other because of that. Because we've had a lot of date changes and things over the last couple of years, obviously, with certain restrictions that were posed upon festivals and whatnot. So yeah, another thing that I love is I like being outdoors. I like being out of the city. There's a reason that you'll like never find me in a bar or a pub or a club in the city. It's because they're usually indoors, and with that it creates quite a container, which obviously has its own potential benefits. But when people are consuming substances, it becomes like really trapped, and for someone like myself, it can be way too dense, whereas it's outdoors, it's just much easier for energy to flow through. You know, there's no mistake sometimes as to like why a particular day of the festival is just going to be windy or like it's just going to and raining. Like, it's actually quite energetically cleansing, a lot of those sort of weather patterns, and it just really can help cleanse stuff out. You know, obviously there can be an extremity to that where like your tent's flying away, or you're like, I don't know, half of your legs like in the mud. You know, we don't really want that sort of stuff. But yeah, being outdoors, especially in a place where there's lots of trees and things like that, can help help you connect better with nature. And being out of the city, and just, you know, energies are less likely to be like condensed and restricted. Another thing that I like about festivals is that I often find a lot of modern society is very dry of like cycles. And you know, we have these things like holidays and whatnot, but they're often associated with like religious philosophies, or they have a political connection to them. It's got nothing really to do with the cycles of the human or the cycles of the earth, or even the environment that we live in. You know, there's none of this sort of spring autumn equinox, and yeah, there's just not really a lot of that. Whereas festivals sort of, I feel like I'm connecting back in with some of that, the festivities in which my ancestors celebrated. And yeah, like I'm definitely not saying the same thing, and that's for sure, but that's the thing. Like, there's a difference between going to the bar or the club every week, or once a month or once every couple of months going to a festival. Yeah, there's a really big difference in that. Yeah. Obviously, the benefits of like volunteering is that you'll often get like a discounted ticket, or, you know, maybe you get to go for free. The benefits of working is not only do you get a free ticket, but, you know, you can get a little bit of cash. Now, these are things that generally you're not really going to make a lot of money out of. But yeah, I do remember once I was living in this share house, and this young woman, she's a DJ, and she loves going to festivals too. And she's just, I remember one day she's like, I don't know how you can afford to like go to all of these like festivals, you know, because she loves going to them too. And she does have a young child, so it does make it a little bit harder when you're like a single mum, and maintaining, you know, a sense of like financial security and all of that. But anyway, I'm digressing. So, and I was just like, well, I don't actually really spend a lot of money at these festivals. You know, like I'm not consuming any substances. I always take my own food, and I'm either volunteering or I'm working. You know, and like for someone like her, she could get paid like being a DJ. But yeah, she did sort of admit, like, yeah, I end up spending way too much money, like hundreds of dollars, maybe up to, I don't know, can't remember the exact sort of amount she said, but, you know, it was a lot of money that she said she would be spending because there was these substances that she wanted to consume, and you know, she wasn't really much of a person that ate a lot, but, you know, it's just all those sort of things, they do start to add up, and I do understand that, but for someone like myself, I don't really spend a lot of money, you know, like I might splurge and get like some really awesome snacks at the supermarket or at the grocery store, at maybe a local shop before I get in, you know, some like fancy snacks that I might not normally get, you know, and there's a bit of travel costs, whether I've got to drive there, or there's another mode of transport that I have to partake in. But yeah, other than that, yeah, and occasionally it is nice to support the market stall holders. I also make like little things, like I have my own, I call them plant wands, but they're like smudge sticks, and I make them out of Australian natives. If the festival is rather local, I'll be able to take them with me, and I could, you know, sell them by donation. I also make, you know, crystal moon waters, I like sprays, I have essential oil with jojoba, And you know, these little things that I can also sell. And I've got friends that make jewelry and do these other things as well. They're artists and creatives, that they find that this is also an income stream for them as well. And a lot of them tend to sort of like live in vans, so their living costs are quite low. So I do understand it's not necessarily a lifestyle that that everyone could maintain for a long period of time, because of their own like sense of safety and desires and things that they want in life too. But yeah, I mean, a few shallow reasons is like, you know, it's a great working environment, and I love working in team environments. Like, I really love that. I'm not someone that likes being the center of attention. Like, I'm very happy being in the background, just like, oh, a thing here and do it here and influence this here and this, and then it all just like comes together, and you just kind of like stand in the background like, I'm so glad I had a part to play in this, you know what I mean? And some beautiful, beautiful manifestations have been created in those spaces, you know, a lot of art, a lot of even just forming of certain physicality coming together. It's just really, it's really something that a lot of our modern day communities and cities and suburbs, it's just, I'm yet to experience it in those environments, but I experience it so much more in these small festivals. And if you ever get an opportunity to come to a place like Queensland, Australia, like, highly recommend come and check some of these festivals out. There's some really funny stories, like you'll meet people who might come over on a work visa, and you know, at the start of their work visa, and like they've all got this like real city like clothes on, and they're a little bit rigid in some ways, and you know, they've brought like a lot of these sort of patterns and things with them, and then you'll see them maybe 6 months or 12 months later, you know, at another festival, the same festival, and they're like really, like they've really grown into, it's not like they're completely changed who they are, but they're really like changed some things about themselves. And they often say like, oh, this festival scene, like it really helped me with that. And yeah, and there's an extremity to that as well, but I'm not going to go into that. It's not really the purpose of me sharing this vlog. So yeah, like I really love serving in this way. I really love being involved with these small festivals, and it really does also push me to beyond my capacity sometimes, and I'm well aware of that. But usually at the end of it, I'm like, oh my God, it was worth it. But in the midst of it, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, why am I doing this to myself again? But yeah, I'm at this moment in time, I'm really enjoying the growth and the expansion that I'm getting from serving through these avenues. So yeah, that's it for this vlog. Let me know if you've got any sort of interesting volunteering, working, festival experiences. It seems that like small festivals are growing in number. You know, I am also starting to see a lot more small festivals popping up now that are, you know, sort of 200 people festivals, which are even a whole other level of like beauty to experience. So yeah, the boutique kind of festival thing is really starting to become more popular now too, and that's really coming from a place of, I guess, sustainability, which is also something that is very important to consider when you're creating things like that. Anyway, that's it for me for now, and I will see you in the next vlog.